welcome to the video. Just a friendly reminder that Fazbear Entertainment is in no way affiliated with this channel or the creator in question, nor is Fazbear Entertainment responsible for any psychological damage inflicted through discussion of the lore, blah blah blah, you know, the typical legal stuff. Anyways, there's really nothing to worry about, so let's just go ahead and get started.
Look, I'm gonna skip over the whole Five Nights at Freddy's is a hit indie horror game developed by Scott Cawthon shtick. If you're watching this, you know all that already. I'm also not doing a deep dive into the lore, though I absolutely could go on about it for hours. No theories, no clue searching, no story hunting. It's more going to be a rant about my experience with the franchise and the impact that it's had on my life, kinda like in my Flash video. And just like in my Flash video, this story starts in 2014, at the start of my 5th grade year. FNaF released just before the start of the school year. I remember watching Markiplier's Let's Play video on it like a week before school started. I kind of figured it would be like most things that I was into at the time. No one else would find it cool, and I'd be picked on for being interested to begin with. But, oh my fucking god, was I completely wrong. When school started, it was all that a lot of kids would talk about. It threw me for a loop, honestly. I was expecting it to fly relatively under the radar. But by the second week of school, kids were arguing about who the scariest animatronic was, who was most like which character, and fighting over who got to be which role when playing at recess. It was kinda insane. And it was honestly the first time I ever really met other kids like me. I clearly was not a popular kid growing up. I was the nerdy kid who liked Sonic the Hedgehog, the Muppets, and who went to dance class 3 nights a week. But the bigger that Five Nights at Freddy's got, the more people like me I ended up meeting. But literally none of us were prepared for the shit show that would become figuring out the lore! About a month and a half into the school year, MatPat released his first game theory about FNaF, and I remember how much it shifted the tone for everyone. Then like 2 weeks later, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 came out, and literally all of us little bastards lost our collective minds over it. Suddenly there were 2 whole new sets of animatronics that kids could fight over, 3 elusive characters everyone argued about, 2 completely new characters, a set of mini-games that gave us lore that we could obsess over, and again caused a massive surge in popularity. It was beyond trippy. I remember all the fan art, the hoaxes, the fan fiction, and all the fan-made lore. I remember theory debates like, is Purple Guy Film Guy, and is Foxy a good guy? Everyone being so fired up over the Shadow animatronics, which, side note, we still don't have 100% clarity on, even like 9 years later, which is mildly infuriating, but not the point. And I remember people trying to figure out the importance of It's Me and Golden Freddy in general. And oh my god, FNaF YouTube was one hell of a scene. All the Gmod videos, SMF videos, fan compilations, YouTubers like Smike, Razbowski, Dawko, Venturian Tale. Everyone in the community contributed so much to fill the gaps between Five Nights at Freddy's 2 and 3. The franchise stayed strong all the way through the end of the school year, and I moved away shortly after. FNaF and The Flash were the 2 biggest things that I relied on to get me through the tough times. When FNaF 4 released in July during my last visitation, I was really excited, and by the time I started at my new school later in the year, we had a book series on the way. I made my first friend in Texas largely thanks to Five Nights at Freddy's. I again pretty quickly found people who went just as crazy trying to figure out the story as me. People who were big fans of Freddy's and game theory and Markiplier and all of those guys. I had journals with friends from that time where we just wrote down every idea about the lore that we had. And I genuinely mean that. 4 or 5 full composition notebooks of just us nerding out over every little lore scrap that we could find. FNaF music was also really fucking popular at the time. My favorite song was Salvaged by Nate Wants to Battle for a really, really long time. Holy shit, just so much fan content, comics, art, fan fiction, fan games, fan characters, models, people doing voices. I remember David Near's voices being absurdly popular for a short amount of time. Everyone just really found a place in all of it. I really found a place in all of it. I learned to be really proud of liking it and being part of its community. Skipping ahead to 8th grade during Season 4 of The Flash and all the stuff I mentioned was going on, in that video. Pizzeria Simulator came out, and the FNAF train exploded in popularity again. I had kids at school asking me about the lore, the timeline, which things were real. It was kind of weird realizing that I was a vet to the franchise. But again, I was super proud of it. All through high school, as the Five Nights stuff continued to just pour out of Scott and his team and Steel Wool Studios, I kept up with literally everything. Even after graduation, I stayed up to date as best I could with all the books and teasers and whatever else was coming out. I briefly did speedruns of Security Breach thanks to Astral Spiff, and when we hit the 8-year anniversary of Five Nights at Freddy's, it really just blew my mind. That I'd stuck around so long that I'd seen the game turn into a $1 million multimedia mainstream franchise that was still ridiculously popular nearly a decade later. I remember a few weeks after the anniversary, I wore a FNAF shirt to Walmart and an employee asked me about it, said that his son was super into it and wanted to know what it was all about. I laughed and I told him it was a really long story, 9 games, like a dozen books, a movie in the works, and summarized it to him as the souls of kids murdered in the 80s haunting robot suits and trying to take revenge on the man who killed them, who is also possessing a robot suit. And he looked at me like I was a total fucking nutcase. And in all honesty, he was kinda right. Regardless though, 2023 has been a great year for the FNAF community. More books, the fucking movie trailer. After waiting so fucking long, it finally released. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. Okay, sorry. The trailer for the Ruin DLC, the announcement of a second VR game, and honestly, I'm really excited. I'm still so proud to be part of this fan base, and I know there's some weirdos, well, like a lot of weirdos, but the amount of people who just find genuine happiness in figuring out the lore and playing the games and being a part of all the creativity in this community is just so heartwarming. All of the people, just like me, who found comfort and found a community among all of this. Hell, my community for this YouTube channel came largely from me playing FNAF games on stream. I am, and will remain, super fucking proud of Five Nights at Freddy's, its community, and all of the creators around this franchise for a very, very long time to come. I am honored to honestly say that I have been here since the very beginning. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go practice drop-kicking children who argue the lore with me at the movie theater. So, thank you for watching, and I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your day.